2011 Chevy Impala. Today we're going to be replacing the support frame bushings. I wasn't originally going to make a video on these because they're pretty straightforward and simple to do, but I found out that the fronts are actually quite difficult and annoying. The rears are pretty straightforward, so I'm going to hit on those real quick. Undo one bolt at a time. Do not undo both bolts, or else your subframe is going to tilt down and you might have a difficulty lining up the bolts and you'll be fighting a uphill battle. Undo one bolt at a time. When it comes down, this is basically what you're going to be looking at right here. This is the full assembly. When you undo your bolt, your giant washer piece is going to come off with it, and then you're going to see this from underneath. This is the bottom portion of your bushing, and here is your top hat for the bushing. This is also a part of it, so it'll go together like this, and that's pretty much all there is to the assembly of it. When the subframe is lowered down, you'll be able to reach up top and pull this off. Then the only thing I had to do to get the assembly out of the support frame was to go around the edges with a pry bar and pry it out. I used a hammer. I tapped the pry bar in to get a foot setting, and then I just worked my way around and I was able to pull it out on both sides. Both sides were pretty easy to do. It was not a headache of any kind. Pretty straightforward, like I said before. The fronts, on the other hand, are a whole different ball game because of where they're installed. Right here is the one I did, and this one with the cap removed I'm going to hit on to try to explain how I did it, and hopefully it'll save you guys a little bit of a headache in the future. Now, as you can see, I have already removed my bolt and the giant washer that comes with it. With the support frame laying down, if you put your hand right here, you can slide it into the back and you'll have a gap right here. And from here, you can actually grab onto that top hat. And it might take a little bit of trial and error to get it out of its groove, but once you have it out, I accidentally pushed it too far forward, so I'm going to try to pick it up a little bit and lean it back. Push it back that way a little bit. There we go. And then you can just pull that out. Now, a big thing I'm going to hit on is getting yourself some WD-40 and trying your best to spray it right on top of that bushing and letting it have a nice soak. And hitting it from underneath as well. So these are different from the ones at the back. I'll show you the one I did. As you can see, these are the ones in the front. It's just a big giant rubber sleeve, and getting it out of there can be a real pain. So what I went ahead and did is I found myself a nice long bolt with a heavy washer and a nut. Go ahead and get yourself a slide hammer. You can get this as a rental tool from most part suppliers, Advanced Auto, O'Reilly, stuff like that. Put this adapter onto it and slide your bolt through. Now we insert into the bottom of the bushing and we install our washer and nut to the top of this bolt. Then we grab it with the tool from up top and just try to tighten it down just a wee little bit. And what you'll be left with is basically going to be a setup like this. Your slide hammer attached to that bolt, which is connected straight up into your bushing. Now, there's one more thing you need to do, or else this is all going to be ineffective. If you're doing this on the ground like a normal person, go ahead and get your floor jack. But for me, I'm going to be using my stiff knee. Go ahead and put support on the lower support. Alright, now you don't need to push it all the way up, but you need to make sure that it's taking the blunt of it, because if you're doing your slide hammer thing and all of these mounts are going to be absorbing that impact, you're not going to get anywhere with removing this thing. You have to support your subframe in order to pull this bushing out this way. Alright, and once you're at this position, you can go ahead and start hitting it with your slide hammer. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, it's not going to come out easy, especially if this is the first time it's ever been taken out. But I got the other one out doing it this way. It took me about 10-15 minutes. So just suspect to spend a little bit of time working on this, but you'll be able to see it starting to come out as you go ahead with it. Yeah, I can already get a little fingernail in there, so it's working its way out. It just takes a little bit of time, but you don't need a bunch of expensive tools to make it happen. On that, I'm gonna go ahead and keep working on it, and I'll be back when it's out. One more thing I wanted to touch on real quick is, while you're using the slide hammer on this, go ahead and just rotate it around and attack it from different angles, and that's really going to help you start knocking it out of its socket up in here. I can already get a finger between the subframe and that. All right, as you can see right here, we got it. It is out, still attached. I got to undo the nut to get this thing out. You can see we had to pound this poop out of this thing to get it to come out, but we got it. All right, we'll go ahead and install our new sleeve. And all I'm going to start by doing is tapping this with a rubber mallet. Let's get it. All right, once you get it started, go ahead and put that bolt in with your giant washer and lift your subframe all the way up. And go ahead and put that down. Lower the support frame back down. Grab your little top hat and reach up there and install it right where you removed the old one from. And the best thing to do is just to go ahead and start installing. And the best thing to do is just go ahead and start installing your bolt with the big washer on it, so you know you've got it lined up. And then you just raise support frame back up once you have it lined up. And go ahead and put it the rest of the way down. That, the installation is complete. I know it's a bit of a difficult job. It definitely sucks, especially with that slide hammer. It's really difficult. There are tools to make it easier, but you got to basically take the whole bumper off, everything, to get to that support and isolate it. And it's just way too much work when you can just do it that way and overpower it basically. But This is one way to do it. I won't say it's the best way, but it's definitely the cheapest way. I didn't have to get any specialty tools or anything like that. But if this video helped you out, leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.